According to 2022 Annual States Viability Index (ASVI) by the Economic Confidential, an intelligence magazine, 36 states generated 1.8 trillion naira internally generated revenue against 5.72 trillion naira from Federation account allocation in the year 2022. The total IGR of the 36 states of the Federation in 2022 was above that of 2021, which was 1.76 trillion naira. Again, Lagos generated more IGR than 30 states combined. The rich and economic valuable states are Lagos, Ogun, River, Kaduna, Kwara, Oyo, and Edo states. On the other hand, we have the poor internally generated revenue states as Bayelsa, Kebbi, Katsina, Akwa Ibom, Taraba, and Yobe states. Hello, my name is Maria Adozakari. Today on Business Focus, we will be assessing revenue generation across states of the Federation. Let's take a look at the equity and currency markets first after this break. Welcome back. We will take a look at the equity markets now. We'll start with the highest trades for yesterday. Let's see who has the highest trades for yesterday. Let's take a look now. Okay, we have GT Company with 69 trades. That's the highest for yesterday at the volume of 27,240,000 at the value of 1,089,089,000,000. UBA follows closely with 68 trades at the volume of 597,748. Then we have the value for UBA at 14,890,000. UBA Zenith Bank follows closely with 67 trades at 1,199,000 and the volume of 45,446,000. Let's take a look at our top gainers for today. Our top gainers for today, we have Infinity topping the list at positive 10%, Caviton as positive 10% also, and we have NNFM at positive 9.42%. We have the losers for yesterday. Our losers, that's the bottom losers as of yesterday, are topping the list. We have Omatech at negative 10% and Prestige at negative 9.62% and eTransact at negative 9.60%. The Naira sold to a dollar yesterday officially at 844 as at close of market yesterday, and at the parallel market it sold at 1,197 per dollar. That's a slight increase for the dollar. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back for our interview segment. Don't go nowhere. In between the program. Welcome back from that break. We are here at the interview segment and I am here with the lead consultant, iMira Consult, Mr. Steve Adisa to help us assess the internally generated revenue by the 36 states. Good morning, Mr. Steve Adisa. Welcome to Business Focus.
Good morning, and thanks for having me once again.
Okay, welcome back. So how do you juxtapose the figures of 2020 as opposed to 2021? That's the internally generated revenue.
As from a business angle, you expect a progressive movement on yearly basis, and again, we also expect our states to do more as time goes on. You can't expect a child who is in primary 1, instead of promoting to primary 2, and you decide that okay, that such a child should repeat primary 1
again.
So I think it's a good omen that we are seeing progress in our IGR.
True.
And it's also helping our economy. It shows that despite the fact of all the challenges, we are growing.
True.
I think it's good when you look at the outlook at the figures.
Okay, so Mr. Steve Adisa, how would you assess the policies of internal generation of revenue at state levels?
Again, my own reservation, or probably one of the things I have as issues with our states, is that some of them, they are totally over-reliance on what comes from federal government.
True.
And when you look at that, those states,
true,
you know, do we need to compare? Yes, because when you assemble state governors, the same respect that you are called to A is what you also are called to B.
True.
But when it comes to business orientation, it differs. There are some states today that you will agree with me, they were not doing well before now. But since 2019, even some 2015, the IGR shoot up. A state like Kaduna State,
true,
the IGR shoot up. And you see a state like Akwa Ibom, when you do the normal FEC, where the money is being shared, Akwa Ibom takes more than Kaduna State. But at the end of the day, Kaduna generates more IGR more than Akwa Ibom. So there is something missing. Some of these are administrators in charge of state are not business oriented. Some of them are just political in nature, that are not looking for how to generate beyond what they also get from government. And that's why you also see, in terms of development in all of these states, you single out some states. You can't even compare some states. Why some states can't even compete as a result of their inability to also look inward and see how they can generate more for the betterment of the state. Because driving of the development, driving of infrastructure, attracting even investors, your IGR also speaks volume. Now, when you generate, what are you doing with it? I think some of these administrators need to just do more. They need to do more, not relying solely on federal government.
So for the fact that you mentioned the IGR of states also help them in attracting direct investments, would you say Lagos is a benefit of that particular situation? Because Lagos topped last year and this year.
Of course, the answer is yes.
Okay.
And if you are not beating yourself to challenge the status quo, I can assure you, Lagos will keep leading till only us know, because now we can't expect God to do what Him and we do. All right. I remember some weeks back, Lagos was in London to attract investors. They went for a fair in London. I remember also some states also went to Egypt. All right. Now, is it a restricted movement? No. It's an open market where everybody needs to go. Why are we going there? We want to go and market our state. Why are we marketing our state? Because we need FDI. Now, why do we need FDI? We need to reduce the unemployment. We need to build on infrastructure. If there are bottlenecks that we need to also work on, we tell the FDI, don't worry, we will work on it. Now, if we are not doing all of this, you should expect that Lagos by 2024 or 2025, they can even put together all the 36 states and still generate more than them.
Sure.
So it's an evidence to show that beyond being political, they are also business oriented. The CEO in Lagos is also business oriented, and that is what other states CEOs should also look inward and see what is it that Lagos is doing that we are not doing. And you also agree with me that over time you also see even some states in Nigeria of late, Anambra State has to even send some people to Lagos to go and understudy a particular sector and segment of their processes in Lagos.
Okay.
Now, these are ways in which we can also challenge and keep putting even Lagos itself on its toes. Why? Because we want to beat them. Lagos is a reference point to anybody who is business oriented.
Sure.
Lagos is in short, as of today, the time will come, Lagos will be competing even with the whole nation. The way they are moving. All right. Now, they don't have land for farming,
True.
but they have to go as far as Kebbi. So that is for you to show that the administrator in Lagos knows what they are doing. They know what we can do to also better and put infrastructure that will attract more people to Lagos. As we speak now, people that are going into Lagos are more than people that are leaving. And where are they living? Where are they living from? They are living from all of these states that are not business oriented in question. So again, Lagos has become a reference point, and it has become a place where everybody wants to be.
So, Mr. Adisa, you said the CEO. By that, I want to make clarification. You mean the governor?
Yes, the governor of the states. They are actually the CEO.
Okay, and then you mentioned Lagos do not have land to farm, but they go as far as Kebbi. Could you shed light on that?
Yeah, I remember even during the administration of Ambode in Lagos State, they had to do with the current minister. The current minister of budget and national planning was the governor of Kebbi State, and they have this state's collaboration. Give us the land, we will plant, we will harvest, we will sell. Now the proceed, they already have a template of how to do the sharing.
Divide.
All right. Now, and they call it lake rice.
Okay.
So when you go to Lagos as at then, the cost of that rice is cheaper compared to other rice in the market.
Okay.
One way or the other, you have reduced the burden.
True.
All right. Now, the people that are working at the farm, you have also taken out unemployed people. You have reduced the unemployment. Now, again, when you bring in the product to Lagos, there is a warehouse. You have also engaged people. Sure. Automatically, unemployment has reduced. Again, you also look at it, there is a chain.
Distribution.
True. And from there, somebody who ordinarily cannot afford to sell even the product worth 100,000, who can go hold a business meeting with them. I have a warehouse, I can stock it for you, I'll sell and refund you. So again, we need to look at how can we improve, how can we also open up to generate and again to reduce unemployment. If all of these are not done, then our states will keep waiting. If they don't do the federal allocation meeting, some states will find it difficult to survive.
Sure.
And I remember under the dispensation of President Muhammadu Buhari, they had to give out bailout to states. And in giving the bailout, they have to call it because of COVID. And but even if we did with the COVID and everything, some states are still striving stronger. So what is the problem with those that are not even doing anything, or what is actually the issue with our governors?
That's the CEOs
of the states. What are they doing? Are they political? Are they technocrats? Or they just believe, oh, I have the strength, I have the power, I become the state governor, I wait for the money to be given by federal government. Whatever we can generate internally, we generate. If we can't, then we leave it like that. In Nigeria as of today, each state have what it takes to compete with each other in terms of development.
True.
Build it, have it.
Okay, so now we have looked at Lagos and some of the succeeding states, that's the rich states in the country. Now let's take a look at the poor states. What's your assessment of them, first of all?
Well, my word may be a little bit harsh. Sometimes I see them as a lazy state. And why do I see them as lazy state is, for instance, there is no state today that does not have pay-as-you-earn tax. All right? There is no state today that does not have transport levy or road levy. All right? There is no state today that do not have MDAs that are generating one way or the other for them.
True.
Okay? Now, what are they doing to improve the livelihood of the state? And again, to also see that these levies are generated, taken to the appropriate purse, and accounted for. For instance, you come into a market square, and the whole place is dusty. No good shop, no facilities. Even if you want to levy people, the confidence will not be there for you to levy people and for them to also pay.
Sure.
Now, what can they do should be the question, because we already know that the problem persists, either by their nature or by their own laziness. Now, you want me to come and invest in your state. What infrastructures are there in the state? You want me to come and invest in your state. Is there enabling environment in the state? For instance, as a governor, don't always believe that the federal government has to be the one that will also provide security at all times. So all of us, security becomes our problem. So as a state governor, what are you doing to also see that you secure your state? Kudos to everyone who are trying their best, no doubt about that. But beyond just being blowing siren all around town, you also need to see how we can open up the state for business, for people to see it. Go to Castina today. You can't tell me that Castina does not have what it takes to compete when it comes to business.
True.
All right? But again, if you are mentioning low income generating states in Nigeria, Castina is one of them.
True.
All right? Now, go to Bayelsa. I think even in your analysis earlier on, you mentioned even Akwa Ibom.
Yes, Akwa Ibom is on the
you
list.
can just look at this state. When you go and sit at the FEC or at the FAAC meeting, you discover that they are getting more money from the federal government.
Yes, they actually
are. But they are not generating anything.
Actually, the numbers are for Akwa Ibom State. They received 360 billion and generated just 34 billion. While for Katsina, they received 165 billion and generated 13 billion.
So you can see that these figures do not really show the seriousness in the mind of the CEO of the state.
True.
So again, they need to do more. Now, how do we do? If you build infrastructure, roads, you see our hospitals, you even down to recreation, all right? There is nothing stopping you from generating money from all of this. For instance, if you have a good road, you tell any driver today, drive all the way from here to down to south. There are places in which they will tell you they don't like going because of bad roads.
True.
Now you must have heard before now that where some state governors had to even use state resources to build federal roads just
Sure.
because they want to make sure that whoever is coming in will have each free to come into the state, assess whatever they have in the state. Now, instead of us making countries like Dubai our hospital tourism or our health tourism, a state should be able to look inward. What if I build this facility
Around this place.
To
generate more.
People will come in
and see. We have wonders.
Of course. Now, again, you also look at it in the other way around. These people in question, if we have even recreation, I remember some years back, it's become a talk of time. Everybody wants to go to Obudu Ranch. Everybody wants to go to Tinapa. Today, they have become a different site of attraction. Nobody talks about them again.
True.
I remember even when I was still in the university, if you ask us where would you like to go for excursion, the only thing that rings bell,
Obudu Cattle Ranch.
And I remember in one of our visits to Obudu Cattle Ranch, it was like home away from home, like we should not even return. But some years later, when we visited again, it has become a shambles.
True.
So again, go as far as Taraba State. You have
Plateau, the Mambila.
The Mambila Plateau. You have places in which ordinarily people will like to go, but again, insecurity. You are not. The place is not habitable again. People will not want to go. Go to Niger State. Go to Bauchi State. All of these states has one thing or the other. Go to Nasarawa State. All of these states have one thing or the other where you can go that can become income generating points for them. But unfortunately, the question is, the CEO, what are they doing?
So, Mr. Steve Adisa, you just talked about so many states that are not doing as they should. Now let's talk about the reasons why those states are not performing. You mentioned laziness, but is laziness the only reason? Because for the fact that you are given 273 billion and then you're able to generate just 15 billion, it's really discouraging. So could it be security? Could there be genuine reasons apart from laziness?
Now the question we need to also quickly ask ourselves is, you fail an exam and you put the blame on your lecturer or your teacher. Could that be a valid reason to say why you failed?
No, not really.
All right. So now we need to now ask ourselves, if there is insecurity, remember, it's everybody's fight. That's one. Two, if you fail as a person, don't shift the blame. All right.
Take responsibility.
All right. Head on. What can we do if a strategy is not working? As a good administrator or as a good CEO, you are supposed to look inward and say, okay, what else can we do? For instance, if insecurity persists in the state, agriculture suffers.
True.
Banking sector suffers. Now, every other sector within the system of the state will also suffer. Now, what can we do? Can't I, as a state governor, whatever the little I have, can't I use it to empower the security outfits within the state? Let's do collaboration. Instead of being individualism, let's do collaboration. Oh, being the chief executive officer and the chief security officer of a state, you may not even have the control of the federal police in your within your kitty, but you can still call them. Let's sit down together. If the state is safe, it's also make your own work less worrisome.
True.
And again, it reduces your sleepless night. All right. Now, what do we do? What do you think we will need? You need the mobility. We can provide. You need more manpower. We can tell you to engage. When you engage, then we see, okay, we'll be servicing. If you are to engage 10,000 for us, we'll be servicing 5,000. You take care of 5,000. This is how people collaborate because you want it to be to the betterment of your state.
True.
All right. Now, how do we attract some other institutions within this country to also come into your state? Now, you need to also look at state laws. How are they affecting businesses? All right. Again, if you don't attract people, unemployment will increase. How will you not expect people to be waiting for a governor to come to his own town, a deputy governor to visit another place, and once you visit, the only thing they will expect from you is
you greet them, they'll give you.
Greet them, you give
pocket.
money. All right. Why are we not in that same way? We are making our electioneering process become too expensive, because for you to buy into my idea, an average person who is hungry will only be interested when you dole out something.
True.
All right. When you give me something, I'm ready to sell anything. That's the unfortunate part of it. So again, these people must have understand that if we do this, put these amenities in place, these people will not worship us again as a black man. All right. Now, what do we do? Am I working to leave a legacy, or I'm working to destroy the legacy? So if you are working to leave a legacy, you must be ready to build on the legacy that exists.
True.
So business-wise, what are you doing? Again, your laws that needs to be reviewed. What are we doing? Now, federal government has opened up the power sector. How many states are ready to key into it?
True.
So we need to look beyond waiting. And again, this is a call on the electorate as well. Beyond somebody who can give you money.
And the spaghetti.
And the spaghetti, the wrapper, the rice of this world.
True.
Now, can this person bring something new to the table? I remember before, I'm not praising anybody, but I remember before Kaduna got to where they are today, they used to be way, way, way backward. But somebody came into the system, changed the narrative. So as a state governor, you must be ready to shake the table for you to also leave a legacy after your tenure in office. So again, the people we want to bring on board, are they business oriented? The people we want to bring on board, how determined are they in terms of developing the state? The people we are bringing on board, do they have associates that can also come into the state and invest? Because you cannot, just because somebody makes money and they begin to share, doesn't mean the person has wings or has friends. Because when we talk about developing a state, even your personality should be able to speak volume.
True.
All right. So all of these are the things that we need to look at. This individual that wants to govern the state, who is the person? Who are they? Do they have a record to show that even in their private business they are striving? It is not all of them that business. You may be a professor of business administration or a business management and still not be a good an entrepreneur.
Sure.
So this, because
theory and practical.
So we need to be able to juggle the two together and see that these people mean well for the states. Okay,
so Mr. Adisa, you mentioned generation of internal revenue could be from payee, from road tax, from MDAs, and from that's allocation from federal government. What other sources could be for generating revenue for states?
Yeah, well, as of today, by the template, taxes actually take most of the both step of internally generated revenue for states. All right. Now, when you look at it, levies, and levies comes in different form. There is a levy you pay even at the market. All right. There is a levy you pay on the road. All right. There is a levy you also pay even in the hospitals.
True.
All right. So now, when you put all of this together, for instance, you have a 5-star hospital situated in your state. People will definitely come. All right. And when they come, they will pay. That is why the health is wealth. All right. People will pay. Now, when they pay, where is the money going into? Do you monitor it as well? All right. Now, you also agree with me that generating income as a state can even be as far as even of estates even in Abuja. It's a way
for
of
the state.
Yes, it's a way of generating money. All right, for the state.
So that's thinking outside of the normal, outside of the box.
Of course, because thinking outside of the normal is why a state could travel to another state to go and either lease or given the land to plant. Sure. So again, so you can go as far as doing that, going to you can even go to Sokoto and go and help them to develop their hospitality sector. The money comes into your state. Sure. All right. So the whole sector that is even bringing in money today, that you wait till the end of the month or beginning of another month to share, can also give you the same return. Okay, take for instance, it is even that meeting point where what is happening at that point?
How beautiful and habitable.
So now, is there any tourist thing that can attract people to the place? All right. Now, go to so many tourist centers. As a little boy, when I was growing up, I visited Yankari Game Reserve.
Sure.
And when we got there, I met with about, I think they were 5, but we met and we got discussing. And those guys said they are BBC reporters. And they came in to come and do a documentary about Yankari Game Reserve. And guess what? If somebody could leave BBC headquarters all the way
Sure.
to come to Nigeria to come and do a documentary, Remember, at that period, they will pay for accommodation,
transport, logistics,
and everything. So automatically, if more effort can be put into some of this, take Spain for them to also be building the red rail. All right. So why will any other state will not also take the pain to build facilities that will bring in people to the state? The more you have, the more income you also have, because again, manpower is being developed, and manpower is actually the head of everything. So if you are developing the manpower, automatically your income level will also improve. Talk of technology today, the only place you can mention of is Lagos. So what happens to other states? Do they not have the manpower?
True.
And so even if you think of setting up any industry today or anything today, as we speak now, the only state that will be on your mind is we should go to Ogun. All right. Now, when you put all of this together, you realize that is it that there are other states that are not doing anything? Do you know that as of today, I am very sure, even if not for the nature of your job, you maybe the last time you heard of some states should be like maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago.
True.
All right.
They don't come up on the news.
So you don't hear anything happening in those states. And is it good? No, because they are more or less like feeding bottle. Once the water is about to finish, they run to the source again, which is
they get it filled up. They come back and
the CEOs just needs to do more. It is a business, and they need to just make it become business for the betterment of the state.
You're still on to Politics and Business TV. This is Business Focus, and my guest just said this is business, not just administration of states. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back to continue the discussion. Stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. We are assessing the internally generated revenue by states across the nation. And we talked about Lagos, and we also talked about some of the poorly generating states in the country. Now we would assess that's the medium performing states. Could you say they could do better, or what is stopping them from doing their best?
Well, again, this will also take us back to the point where we say, if as a student there is somebody that is topping the class, and out of 20, somebody definitely will be at 10, and why somebody will be at 20.
Sure.
Right? What is challenging you? Something must be motivating you being in this school. All right? Now, are we saying factors, both internal or external factors, will not come in? They will. But on your part, how do you stand to tell anybody that it's because my state is not close to the water? or
to the crude oil source?
Okay, that's why I'm actually not having the enough resources to do what I want to do. All right. Now, there is no excuse for failure. Rather, it should be that, what can I do? And one of the things that can be done is that the states that are doing well, how are they doing it? Why not study it?
Like the state sending some people to study Lagos.
Of course, send people there. Let them go and understudy in terms of procurement. Let them study their health. Let them study their education. Let them study their science and tech. Let them study all the sectors they have. That will help even to build from either ground zero to anywhere you want to build to.
Okay, so Mr. Adisa, with the new governments in place, what are we looking at for internally generated revenue towards the next year?
Well, the only thing we can be looking forward to is increase. And for you to increase, you need to also do just as we have highlighted. They need to do more. they really need to do more. Nothing stops any state even going to borrow. Why are you increasing the nation's debt profile when you are not developing your state? Some only take money and then squander it the same way. So they need to get